Well, hello and welcome back. And today I wanted to continue the discussion around backcountry safety because I have a tip that I think might be potentially life-saving. Now, this story starts with a lost hiker. I'm not going to mention names because I don't want to seem like I'm capitalizing on what ended up being somebody's loss. Nevertheless, we know that recently there was a hiker that went out for a solo hike and they did not come home. And it is believed that they got disoriented or lost the trail due to a combination of a lot of factors. Nevertheless, they ended up perishing. Now, it really affected me because I thought that it was such a tragic loss for somebody who is just trying to experience and explore the backcountry. But it was the worst reminder that we could possibly have for our safety. So as we know, cell phones require connectivity to local towers in order to get data down onto the phone. The GPS is actually provided from satellites, but if you are attempting to use your phone for navigational purposes, you do still need the data to access maps and thus find paths or your way out should you be lost. However, Garmin users, particularly users of the InReach mini device that I use, would know that the Garmin EarthMate app, which is a free application to download, you can also download maps, be that topographical, including different trail information for use offline. So even if you don't have a Garmin InReach mini device for emergency communication purposes, you can still utilize the EarthMate app to download trail information, and it will still use the satellite to tell you and locate you on that actual map. You may have some data in terms of Forest Service roads or access roads, public roads, and it could help you orient yourself out of a situation should you become lost or disoriented.
So let's begin by opening the app. Here we have the Garmin EarthMate app along with some other mountain bike and outdoors related apps. And I have it already open and set to, let's call it Central British Columbia. So if, let's say, I was heading up to Valemount, BC, which is up in this area, and Valemount, for those who don't know, is becoming quite the mountain bike destination, then what we can do is we can look at these maps, and you can see here populated on the side, these are all the biking trails. Now it's worth mentioning that they will call them foot trails, but they are mountain bike trails. Granted, they will show both, but they won't distinguish mountain bike from foot trail. Nevertheless, let's say you're out riding for a day and you happen to find yourself up in this corner of this canyon. And you might have become just a bit disoriented. You're not quite sure which way to go back to the city. Well, prior to your trip, if you select up in the top right-hand corner, you see the 3 sheet layers. And these are all the different types of map layers. And you'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner, it says download. And what we can do is we can download all of these maps for use offline. Now, granted, I've already done that. However, you can see just how you would do that here, and you would download that particular area. So what will end up happening is if we're up in this corner, you will see a blue triangle that will indicate your location. And as you orient yourself left and right, it will turn with that location using the built-in GPS in your phone. Now, again, remember that the GPS orientation is based on satellites sending down a signal and your phone being able to triangulate itself and determine where it is oriented in terms of the map. So we would be able to, without the use of cell phone towers, identify where exactly we are on the map, and we could then browse around and determine, okay, down here is the city and the highway, and so we're going to follow in that direction. It's also worth noting that in certain areas, unfortunately not a lot of Canada, or any I should say at this point that I've been able to find at least, are satellite. However, Bellingham, you can see down here, is populating with satellite imagery. Now, if I'm going to zoom in here for a second, those satellite images will disappear temporarily, but if I go ahead and remove some of the map layers, they can pop back. So let's take a look-see. So this is actually a pretty old map because this is the Transition Bikes lot there, and I think, I might be wrong, but somewhere along this stretch is going to be the parking lot for Galbraith. I think it's right here. But if we are out cycling in this area and we become disoriented, using the satellite layers, which might be able to provide more information, a house or a structure that we can, get to in the event of an emergency. So yeah, in certain areas we can take advantage of actual satellite imagery. And again, I have that downloaded onto my phone. Likewise, if we scroll up to Squamish, if we scroll in further, we can see just how many trails are up in this area, which is, part of the reason why Squamish is such a mecca for mountain biking. But these are all mountain bike trails. Again, they will come up as a foot trail, but we know them to be the bicycle trails here. So again, you do have to download the maps prior to going to this particular area. So if you're on a long road trip, it would be advisable to download the maps, along your route, so that you can help, orient yourself in the event of an emergency, and self-extricate if need be. So this is a free resource. I encourage everybody to download the Garmin EarthMate. It does not require the use of the inReach devices or any subscription or anything like that. So this is just another way to help keep you safe.
So I bring up this particular individual to impress upon you the importance of backcountry safety, because as it was, this particular individual was only a few kilometers or a couple of miles from a main roadway. And it serves as a tragic reminder for us all to take responsibility for our own personal safety. So if you are venturing into the backcountry or even just your local trail network, and you may or may not have reliable cell phone connectivity in that area, take a moment to download the Garmin EarthMate app and its corresponding maps for the region that you'll be venturing into. So if you found this video helpful, please share it with others. Thank you very much for watching. You take care. Bye for now.